Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome along to your Wednesday fix of SOP PC action, hosted once again by our friends at SimGrid. We are, of course, here for the third and penultimate week in our PC EVO Challenge, a 4-week competition showcasing some of SOP's finest drivers, as well as Mike's handy camera work, pitting them against one another in a battle for the ages. It's Mercedes versus Ferrari as our drivers pilot the AMG EVO 2020 and the 488 EVO 2020 around the spiritual home of the AMG, of course, the Nürburgring. My name's John Wright, and as your usual stalwart commentator and self-proclaimed voice of SOP, I'll be leading you through tonight's action, but fear not, I will not be alone in my endeavours to bring you commentary worthy of our faithful viewers, the drivers, and of course Magic Mike. Joining me to dissect and analyse all of tonight's race action is Mr. Fair Dinkum himself, an all-round cork hat wearing nice guy, Twitch's very own Kadras Gaming. It is Kane. How are we doing this evening, Kane?
I'm great, John. Thank you. Welcome to everybody. Delighted to be here to bring our viewers all of the action tonight. As you mentioned, Magic Mike on the camera. We're here for round 3 of the SOP Challenge. It's been a cracking opening 2 rounds, and I'm expecting much more of the same tonight in the hotly contested tournament. These cars at this historic track is going to be one to watch. We have seen the Ferraris dominate thus far, so very interested to see how the Mercedes handle the last 2 rounds.
Yes, indeed. The tracks definitely so far, Kane, as you mentioned, have definitely favoured the Ferrari. We find the Ferrari drivers at the top of the table. We'll discuss that during qualifying. But as you mentioned, this is, of course, the spiritual home of Mercedes, so can we see an AMG driver at least make it onto the podium this evening? It will be interesting. It is, of course, an extremely historic track, to say the least, Kane. 1907, I believe they started work on it.
That's when the thoughts went out, John. 1907, there's an Italian driver, Felice Nazzaro, who won the German race, the national race. So the Kaiser was demanding answers as to why that happened. All the German manufacturers had said, look mate, we don't have a home track to develop these vehicles. So that's when the thought went out, and Kaiser said, right, let's do this. We're going to have a world-class arena. Little thing called World War I stepped in, and next minute, 1925, they started laying those bricks. So, long time in the making, coming up to almost 100 years old. First race was run in 1927, June of that year. As usual, a motorcycle race was the actual first official result.
The most common phrase in SOP Motorsports is either Baggy's in the lead or it started with a motorcycle track. We're having a quick look, as you can see, at the current tournament standings, and what a cracking tournament it's been so far, Kane. It's very close all the way through the field. As you can see down at the bottom here, we've got a few guys who haven't scored many points yet, but if we see Paul McKenna there down on 0, we've got Simone Bertolio down there in 29th, and Bastida hasn't scored any points either. The interesting grouping, though, I would say, is from Sam Su up to Alex Phillips and Mikael Hole on 19 points. So from 19 points down to 8 points, that group of 12 drivers, very, very close, Kane, and going to be an interesting battle between them tonight.
That's right, John, indeed. Ferraris and Mercedes amongst that group. So, as we've touched on before, the standings do hold Ferraris, actually hold the first 7 places. So Ferrari dominating, then a bunch of Mercedes in, and then, as we've talked about, that little mix-up of Mercedes and Ferrari in the middle of the pack will be some battles. Do have some familiar names in there, as you said, Sam Su or TSR Wake. Do have some homeschool racer there. With a couple of your favourites in there as well, John.
Indeed. Yeah, homeschool racer, good friend of mine, great driver, of course. TSR Wake, he's definitely a regular. And so is Stefan Van Hal. Definitely want to watch in the Ferrari this week. You were talking about the Ferrari dominance. There has been another kind of dominance, and it has been in the Ferrari. Of course, Luca Tavernari absolutely, ruthlessly merciless, to say the least. Kane took pole position in the first two races, won the first two races as the emergency services fly past one of our commentary team. He has taken the lead, so he's got himself a good 20-point lead over this group in the middle, but the group behind him, second, third, fourth and fifth, Kane. Not a lot between Kenny Millard and Sir Foch in second place, and even less between Malcherek, Georges and Sir Foch. Given that the AMG looks like it's going to be dominant at Imola, this could be the last chance for these guys to score some really good points. So we really could see some pushing from the middle of the field here with these guys.
Yeah, cannot wait to see them out on track and seeing some hot laps, setting those times, seeing who's up there quick. We will have a sneak peek and see if Luca Tavanari can dominate once again. Did say lead from start to finish each race so far, so it has been a dominant display. He will be hard to catch. He certainly will. I'm just having a quick look. I'm just going to quickly check in the background technically. Kane, do you have pit wall running at the moment? I'm looking at pit wall and I can't see the guys. Mike, can you in the background confirm, do we have... I've been unable.
Oh. Okay, so we will talk more about the track, of course. 1907, they started talking about it because of an Italian winning the home German race. So really this track, Kane, has actually been born out of the rivalry which we're bringing the viewers tonight, which is Mercedes versus Ferrari in these EVO 2020 cars.
Exactly right, John. As we said, almost 100 years, or over 100 years in the making now. 1907 was when the Italians did triumph over the Germans here. 18th of June 1927 did have the first race. That race was won by the Mercedes team, so they didn't have to wait long to get back on track. As you know, that was obviously in the longer format known as Nordschleife, so a little bit different now, a lot shorter track.
Indeed, and of course the Nordschleife is still in existence, that massive extension, 20 unbelievably impressive feat of engineering, and it's maybe just as well, Kane, that the Germans won the race on their first outing. And we are going to jump on board for a hot lap. Kane is going to talk us through this. We do have one of Coach Dave's specialists in the shape of Aleric Enselin. Take it away, Kane.
Thanks, John. So just heading down the main straight now, guys. Pit wall of 381 metres on the right-hand side. Sitting into the first corner, ever so slightly, trail braking in, skipping the curve, getting the car set to the right-hand side for Mercedes Arena. This little uphill left-hander, downhill left-hander is all made for the setup to the next corner. So we head around, run wide a little bit, but always keep those tyres on the inside, avoiding those track limits. Heading down to Valvoline Curve. Very fast left-hander, very easy to get the car unbalanced and end up in the gravel pit or grass areas, not fun coming out. We head down to the bottom of the track now, the lowest point, done that curve. So you hear some more action in the background. Very tight hairpin, another one crucial, get the corner exits right. Sacrifice a little bit of corner entry for that corner exit is never a problem. Another one to touch on here is we watch through this Schumacher S's is we need these cars set up to be able to handle these curves. I've seen a lot of curve riding going on, so those cars really need to be able to handle those. Now down into the final straight part, have a very fast flat at Van Boden corner, right-hander leading up into the NGK chicane now. Use the slightly faster left-right setup for the GT3s as the round Coca-Cola curve into the final straight now. Now if the drivers can keep it all together for the whole race, John, we'll see 31, 32 laps I'm predicting of pure action between these two manufacturers.
Yes, we really, really will. And what a lap that is. I can tell you, as you and I, Kane, it's no secret, you and I both take part in sim racing ourselves. You take more part, I would say, than me, but the Nürburgring, I'm going to be honest, it is a course that fills me with absolute dread. It is very much a race driver's course. As you touched on at the start of the lap there, 90% of this track, 80-90% of this track, the corners, you sacrifice the corner entry for the corner exit, so patience is very much magnified at this course. So it will very much be a case of he who waits wins rather than he who dives in and possibly bins, I would say. Would that be in agreement, you reckon, with what you've been saying in the lap guide?
Definitely, John. Definitely fair to say that. Drivers are going to have to show some patience. As always, we do have a notorious turn one. It's going to be very interesting to see those guys battle it out the first couple of laps as they settle into their pace. A couple of diving moves I'm predicting to see is down at the bottom of the Dunlop curve there. Get a good exit out of that and follow some slipstream. You will see some dives down the inside, and hopefully everyone is going to be able to pull that up in time and get those moves done. But will be fun. Cannot wait.
Indeed, indeed. Like you say, so Sector 1, as you come along the start-finish straight, as we look there at the hairpin, that is of course the Dunlop Kerr that you were just talking about, leads up to, as we see on screen now, the Schumacher S. As you mentioned, that is definitely an overtaking position. We've seen a race not so long ago where we saw some cracking moves pulled there by Baggy, one of our SOP console drivers, resident alien, shall we say. So the Dunlop Kerr and the Michael Schumacher S, definitely places we'll be looking at. And of course, Advan Boggin, that flat-out right-hand kink leading up to the extremely quick NGK chicane. Kane, it's going to be an interesting one watching the guys battle it out through there, especially with the increased aerodynamics that these two cars are bringing to the party tonight.
Exactly, John. The new EVO cars do have a couple little changes there that might help them through that long straight. I'll call it a straight. It does have a curve in it, but you do not need to let up on there. It's just to turn it in at the right time. Plenty of time to get in some slipstream there as well for some of those moves. If you've got the cojones to go into the chicane too wide.
Amen to that, brother. Amen to that. It's certainly not a move I would consider pulling. So, yes, we do have our guys. They are out on track, getting themselves a last-minute warm-up, getting themselves some Sighter tyre data. We do have 29 cars driving with us tonight. We have 12 Ferraris tonight out of the 29, giving us 17 Mercedes cars on track tonight, Kane. So if tonight is not the night for us to get a Mercedes on the podium, I surely don't. I mean, okay, Imola next week, we'll come to that at the end of the show. Obviously, we've got Imola next week, which is Mercedes dominant, but the Kaiser will not be happy if we don't see a Mercedes on the podium tonight, Kane, do we think?
Yeah, it's right, John. I think there will be more words spoken to the manufacturers. It will be interesting. We do see a couple of Mercedes holding the top spot in this early practice session so far. Qualifying session as we head on board 1 minute into that qualifying session. Shane?
Sorry, Kane, you still there?
Sorry, yeah, John. Yeah, Shane Klokanovsky.
Yes.
In the number one position at the moment. Be interesting. I'll be keeping an eye on him at this stage, John.
Yep, and I also like how you managed to show off nice and early there and get the fact that you can pronounce his name in nice and early. It's always good for a commentator to get that feather in his cap nice and early. Of course, yep, Shane Klokanovsky. Do appreciate, I'm sure he will appreciate the extra practice you put in earlier. Of course, we've got a cracking lineup of drivers. See a lot of them are green. There it is, of course, Stempel in the Ferrari. Look at Tavernari in the number 10 car. Absolutely one to watch. I'm going to declare the number 222 before anybody does anything this week. The first thing that your good old-fashioned double O Raven is doing is pinning his hat on Alex Phillips. Of course, AJ to the P, a member of Indigo Lime Racing, partners with Baggy, who's our resident alien on console, and there he is in his Indigo Lime colours. AJ, very, very quick, very, very smooth, and the race IQ pretty much through the roof, Kane, so expecting big things from him tonight.
Yeah, right, John. One of our regulars to the SOP community, always one to watch. As I said, first one commentating here, so I'll be watching everybody closely. I cannot wait to see these battles unfold. Going to be little packs of Ferraris and Mercedes all amongst the field. So we are on board with.
Yeah, we're on board
right now.
Yeah, fantastic camera work again by Mike. I was quite surprised though, Kane. I always thought he was called Magic Mike because of the camera work. I didn't realise it was because he wore a mankini to work. That was a bit of a shock at the first meeting. How did you find that encounter yourself?
I'm finding an encounter myself as we speak, John. So
excellent,
I'm holding it together. Love.
Listen, anything that keeps a smile on the missus' face and keeps him producing the camera work that he's producing, then we're absolutely all on board. Although I do think Marin matching team colours is maybe taking it just slightly too far. We're on board with one of the Mercedes at the moment, of course. Mr. O'Neill is sitting in 13th place. He had finished in 12th in our opening race and 13th in the second race, so he'll be looking to make a mid-pack move, see if he can get some home turf advantage in his Mercedes. At the moment we do have Mercedes at the top of the timing belts. We'll be expecting the guys to start popping in some serious laps pretty soon, as we see Ian setting the first benchmark lap, and instantly Asta Borrega goes quicker. Malcherek then pops up slightly behind Asta Borrega. Georges then, Georges only in second place. So here we go, King Mage then in 5th. I've got Stemple up to 6th. All the timing boards coming in. Love seeing these outlaps, these banker laps, Kane. The guys, of course, will still be getting used to the track conditions, looking to get a nice, solid, secure lap in. We're on board with Luca Tavernari, about to set his first lap of the session. Comes round the Coca-Cola curve, heading towards the start-finish straight, and the computer says, bingo, 1 minute 54.429, already 7/10 ahead of the rest of the field in the opening exchanges. Kane, really going to need Alex Phillips to get his finger out for me here.
Yeah, has that answered our questions early on, John? Luca Tavernari does set that fast time, big 7/10 gap into second place as Chris Jones. Obviously these guys are still getting settled into their laps and getting those cars balanced out, as we see Seb.
Bit of a coming together in the qualifying. Yeah. Come on, lads, what's going on there? TSR Wake there in the Mercedes involved in a bit of a coming together. We're on board. There we go. It's Karsten Hash. I do apologise if I pronounced that correctly, in his rather striking green and purple livery. Just been pointed out, I'm making a bit of a hash of that, and we do love a pun. Although, given how much trouble I was given earlier for some of my dad jokes, I think we're going to have to take that down as a tumbleweed or two. What do we think, Kane?
I think possibly so, John. Possibly so.
Excellent. It's nice to see you on my side now. It's nice to see you on my side now. Thanks very much. As soon as we go live, that's it. Kane suddenly switches allegiance. It's almost like he's worried I'm going to start cracking jokes.
It's the name of the game. Use that chance to have a look at the chat there. A bit of love for Gilbert at the moment. Gilbert Ganches in the Ferrari.
Oh, Ganches, yep, in the Ferrari, yep.
Good.
Let me bring up the chat too, yeah.
Yeah, get involved, jump in, let us know who you're watching, who your favourites are, who you think's going to win this one.
Will we get a Mercedes on the podium, people at home? Luca Tavernari is certainly doing his best to lock out the top spot. He is having absolutely none of handing over his top spot. Let me just mute that so I'm not getting my voice twice. That is genuinely not what anybody needs. Once I'm sure most people would agree, is more than enough. Sir Foch, then one of our serious championship contenders. He is second in the championship. He's fourth at the moment, and he's 7/10 up. So that is a 247 for Sir Foch. Can he bring the Ferrari home and vault himself into second place? At the moment, he is on track to do so, and he's pulled even more time through Ad Van Bogen. So the superior aerodynamics of my beloved Ferrari once again pulling the drivers around the track expertly, and Sir Foch absolutely hammers at home. Only 3/10 of Luca Tavernari in second place, so he is definitely looking to consolidate second place in the championship before we get to the definitely Mercedes dominant Imola next week, Kane.
Yeah, Ferrari's looking dominant again, John. I'm really interested to see how these Mercedes can hit back. Still 7th to 10th gap back to that first Mercedes of Chris Jones. Guys do still have just under 7 minutes left of the qualifying. Just having some double issues currently, John. Bear with me.
Yeah, no problem. Well, let me just say hi to everybody in the chat. It is certainly coming live. Let me see. We have Lunac Cosmin again. Hello, welcome back, welcome back. Andrei Zhuravlev. I hope I've done that justice, my friend. Welcome along. Cyber Racing Promotion Association. Good evening. Welcome along to the broadcast. We hope you're enjoying. Judah Hanna. Good luck, Gilbert. We've got Michael Bernay, James Lee, SOP Motorsports Esports TV. Let's go. Blatant Rage, AJ to finish in the top 3. I may have made a hash of his name, but he's certainly not made a hash of his lap. Karsten finds himself up on 4th place at the moment, gazumping Sam Sue and Battenberg down to 5th and 6th. Alex Phillips, my one to watch, and Blatant Rage, just give him a shout out as well, currently in 7th. Daniel Jose Georges then, slightly out of position from where you would expect to see him currently. So maybe the Mercedes domination is showing. It's just Luca Tavernari and Sir Foch are outperforming the car to the track at the moment, because Georges and Malcherek, of course, both of those guys in the top 4. Georges in 3rd after a 2nd and 4th place. Malcherek in 4th after a 4th and 3rd place. So finding themselves well down the order with 5 minutes to go. Go Lee King Mage. Can someone, I do apologise, King McGee, King Mage, can someone please remind me how to pronounce that? I know I got it quite wrong last week. I really don't want to do that again, but I've managed to get Sir Foch right, so we're on. Nice to see Sam Sue back at the front after finding out his throttle pedal was only operating at 95% in the first 2 rounds. Ah, of course, I read that in the chat. He'd set up his Fanatec. For anyone that isn't in the Discord chat, first off, why not? Come join SOP Motorsport in the Discord chat. You can join in with these fantastic races as well. But he did mention in the chat that some setting had gone awry in his Fanatec pedals and his throttle was only working at 95% of maximum capacity. So he was never actually able to get the foot fully down. Jay Plots looks like he has though, still in 15th place. We have 30 drivers on track. We've got 31 drivers taking part with us this evening. 28 of them so far have set laps, and Luca Tavernari absolutely looking to seal his complete and utter dominance of this championship. Of course, 17 points in the lead after the first 2 rounds, and finds himself comfortably 3/10 ahead of the rest of the field with 4 minutes left of qualifying. Back on board with Sam Sue. Will his 100%? Oh, runs a bit wide, so that lap won't count. So there we go. Curse of the commentator. Sorry, Sam. I do apologise, TSR. Do we have Kane back again?
I am here, John.
Yes, they are. So it's shaping up nicely here, Kane. It's going to be interesting. If you look at the current qualifying standings and look at the current tournament standings, ooh, it's all getting shooken up here.
Yeah, a couple of movers and shakers there. AJ Phillips, your favourite, up to the number 7th position at the moment. Another one to watch there, Jean-Paul Plots. Just dropped down to 16th position now, but just making a move. Had a few mixed results, and is currently in. Sorry, hasn't finished a result. I correct myself, John. Hasn't actually made a finish, so he's one to definitely watch today.
Yeah, he'll be looking to make away. Like you say, hasn't actually got a record at the moment for us to compare, but he's certainly making his presence known here, the lead AMG. So the Kaiser will certainly be looking to give him a pat on the head while sending the rest of the Mercedes drivers to the firing squad. Alex Phillips, though, AJ to the P, comes flying through Ad Van Boggen with that beautiful new styled nose on the front of the AMG. Comes through the Michelin chicane and around Coca-Cola curve. 2 minutes left on qualifying. Will AJ get it done this lap, or will he need another one? Fires himself towards the line. 4th position for AJ. Team Indigo Lime representing. AJ is keeping the fit in it, so he is going to look to go quicker. Obviously, if that was a quicker lap, he would have got a decent exit. We've got King Mage, King McGee, please somebody help me. He's up to 7th place, so the Mercedes are coming alive. Look at Tavernari and Sir Foch then. Just shows the level of driving that they're putting in, Kane, if they're keeping the Ferraris ahead of the rest of these Mercedes here.
Yeah, it is continuing its dominance, John. Very interesting to see. Do have little packs building up there. There are 3 Mercedes with Chris Jones, Alex Phillips and Carsten Hash in 3rd, 4th and 5th in those AMG EVOs. Really testing it out, all within 7/10 of the leader, Luca Tavernari. So the guys will be finishing up on their last fast lap soon.
Indeed, as you see Battenberg coming through the Michelin chicane round the Coca-Cola curve, he has found himself some time in the lap. This could find him in a very, very, very handy position if he can hold this little bit of wiggle on the exit to Coca-Cola, and he does hold on to that time and push himself up to 4th place. So it is Ferrari, Mercedes, Ferrari, Ferrari, and then a whole lot of Mercedes. Look at Tavernari though, not having it quite his own way. He goes quicker. Look at Tavernari has just gone quicker. Just as I was saying that, he's extended his lead to 4/10. And Chris Jones, in fact, Jones, yes, he is up to 2nd place. So we've got Jones in 2nd. He's vaulted Sir Foch. So you did mention Jones, we did mention Chris Jones, TSR GT Welsh, and he is absolutely punching. And Sir Foch absolutely fighting back. No quarter given or ass between these two guys. 5 seconds left to go, and Sir Foch puts himself back on the front row. We're looking on board with Rosso here, a new contestant. I don't think he raced last week. He'll be looking to set a marker down with his partition this week, and he has got himself a few tenths to the good. Can he carry them home in the 488? And he does. Gets himself up to 12th position. We're on board with Stefan Van Hal then, of course, one of SOP's most regular drivers. He is still in sector 1 of the track, coming down to the hairpin that Kane and I mentioned would be a fantastic overtaking spot, carrying some time, looking to get himself a move into the top 10. And look at Tavernari, we've just had informed he is not happy with the fact he's only 3/10 up. He has found another 4/10, which he is looking to carry home. So absolute dominance here from Tavernari, Kane.
Yeah, just heading into that final NGK chicane now. Can he keep it together, carry enough curb, carry that speed through to the final hairpin now, and maintain that 4/10? Can he go even faster? See what that Ferrari can do up the main straight now.
Will he do a 153? Yes. Wow.
Questions answered.
Yeah, I think the word for that is, of course, wow. As we see, the last of the guys, Millard then gets himself up into the top 10, gets himself overexcited and jumps into the 300+ metre pit wall, as was so expertly pointed out. We've got O'Neill then down to 23rd, and he's got himself some time in his pocket as well. Over half a second to the good coming round the last corner. Can he pilot the AMG into a top 15 position? 18th. So very, very close. So there we go, Kane. What a session that was. Ferrari once again showing their dominance, but only in the top couple of positions. We've got Luca Tavernari then, of course. 3 for 3 in pole positions in our SOP PC EVO event. I am just showing off, rattling that one off. Yeah, that's right. Samir Foch, 8 tenths adrift. But in second place, Chris Jones in third. Battenberg in fifth. Sorry, Battenberg in fourth. I do apologise. And my one to watch, AJ to the P, Alex Phillips is in fifth this week, Kane. And we've got some fantastic movers. Looking at it, definitely need to be keeping an eye on Sam Su, Karsten Heisch, Christian Malcharek will definitely be looking to improve that position. And Daniel Jose Georges, Kane, down in 11th. He is third in the championship. 11th here. This is going to be an absolutely phenomenal race, given the way these drivers are now spread out compared to their current championship standings.
Yeah, qualifying. Very interesting, John. Got six of the top 10 cars are actually the AMGs. However, 3 of those Ferraris are in the top 4. So lots of Mercedes in and amongst that top 10, but still the Ferrari Evo holding out that top line of the grid.
And if I'm honest, personally, obviously, not even slightly surprised by that. I have often said the Ferrari 488 is quite possibly the greatest piece of mechanical engineering since Magic Mike's broadcast booth. And it is certainly putting itself to good use today. Hello to everyone in the chat again. It's Maggie. So there we go, King Maggie. Welcome along. Ironically, the person who's typed that in, I'd Leakle too. I've just massacred that as well. Hello TKR Saturn, welcome along. Usually we see you on track. Starting to watch more PC races now with the view to possibly joining at some point. Great commentary and usual. You're only saying that because you mean it. And you are rooting for AJ in this one. Of course, Baggy. Of course, Baggy is here. Baggy of Indigo Lime Racing and my driving instructor. Teammates with AJ to the P. So yeah, let's face it, if you want to jump on anyone's bandwagon, it might as well be someone in the same team as Baggy. So I'm throwing my hat definitely in the AJ to the P ring tonight. What do you think, Kane? Anyone you reckon we're going to watch, or are you just going to play safe, look at Tavernari all the way? What do we think?
It's going to be hard to look past, John, if I was a betting man.
Indeed.
We'd have to go the safe bet. If he does get that clean entry and exit out of turn 1, does have that quite substantial gap back to the next the next qualifying position. So does have the pace now. Can he hold on to it within the first opening laps and keep it out in front? Or will be revealed shortly as we walk through the field now.
Indeed, having a look at this masterclass of motorsport engineering. As we mentioned, this track was of course born out of the rivalry between these two manufacturers. So it seems only fitting that the penultimate round of this competition will take place here. And it is a fabulous, fascinating lineup going into turn 1. Ferrari, Ferrari, Mercedes, Ferrari, Mercedes, Ferrari, Mercedes, 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 Ferrari, Ferrari, Ferrari. It is a nice mixed up bunch. There is a lot of different braking zones, there is a lot of different acceleration points, and there is definitely a difference between the weight transfer and the aerodynamic packages that both cars bring to the party. So this really is going to be, lap 1 and 2 of this, Kane, mouth-watering stuff.
Yeah, you just save yourself, John, because we are in for quite the ride. Tom Lenz joining in the chat. Hello there. Hello everyone. Get chatting, get involved. Want to hear who you're here to see. Want to hear who you think's going to win.
Yeah, and just about to start.
We will see the full formation lap of these cars slowly warming the tyres, getting their race preparation mentally done.
Definitely, and of course, as you and I know, Kane, a lot of drivers will try and warm their tyres. The trick is to warm your brakes. Basically, get your foot on the brake, get your brake discs nice and glowing hot, spread that heat outwards from your tyres, spread that around and hope that you can make it in and out of turn 1 in one piece. I mean, it's no Monza turn 1, but as far as turn 1s go, Kane, whoa, this is right up there. You've got the slight right hand kink before you have to take this really tight hairpin to go into the Mercedes arena as we watch top down helicam. Some fantastic camera work again there from Mike, but that section here, definitely one as we spoke about before qualifying started, Kane. This is massively a set-up series of corners to get you out the other side rather than looking to get perfect entrances every single time.
Yeah, that's right, John. Especially this opening lap, guys will have a lot more fuel than they've just been running in the qualifying. Been obviously running quite light, getting those times down to the optimal. Now they do have, depending on fuel strategies, upwards of possibly 80, 90, maybe even 100 litres in the car now, John. So interesting to see how those strategies play out also. Whether some of these guys have opted for a lighter load, come in halfway, top up, or whether everybody will just be filling up
Halfway through. Yep, you're right. I am mesmerised by the camera work as well as we see the guys coming through Dunlop Curve up in to the Michael Schumacher S, looking to complete Sector 2 of this unbelievably amazing track to drive. It is one of those tracks, like I say, it's very much a love-hate relationship. You do need to get everything absolutely spot on, but Kane, I'm sure you will testify, you get these corners right correct and you nail yourself a good lap round here, and happy is the man that is sitting behind the wheel.
Yes, as always. Nail a lap around any of these circuits and any of these cars, John. It's very, very satisfying. Very difficult to get one lap, let alone 1 hour's worth of laps. So, yeah, these guys have got to put in a solid 30-odd laps, 32 laps, taking into account pit stops and all the rest. So, yeah, we're in for an action-packed hour ahead for sure.
We really are. Remember, we are here for the SOP PC EVO event. 31 of our finest drivers on show for you, beautifully displayed and showcased by Mike in the camera box. Thanks once again to Michael for SimGrid for putting us on and allowing us to use his world-class facilities to bring you guys at home the viewing here. We have 31 drivers split between the AMG 2020 and the 488 2020. I think we all know which side of that particular battle I am throwing my hat on, although I am cheering on AJ to come round the last corner then. On the rolling start, looking to hold their speed at 43 miles an hour. We're on board with Sir Fox then. We are guaranteed to see some fantastic action into turn 1 as they come along towards the BMW M-Power sign to start the race. It's green flags, foot down, flat out, away they go, heading along the straight. Very minimal moves at the front there. We see a few 3-wide incidents at the back there. Drivers absolutely committed, some getting a better start than others. The Ferrari's absolutely taken off. Sir Foch then could well lose out to Chris Jones. They're pushed out on the outside. There's a few cars on Wright, and I think that Jones has got the move done. Jones has got the move done very early on Sir Foch. So Sir Foch down into third. Tavernari, of course, holding on to the lead. Battenberg looking to make life a lot more difficult for Sir Foch now that he's down there. AJ to the P. Alex Phillips, of course, still holding on to 5th place there with Millard in 6th. We've got Carsten Hash as well holding on to 7 with King McGee still in the background there. We're on board with Phillips, and these front 4-5 drivers, absolutely phenomenal start there from Chris Jones. Manages to leapfrog Sir Foch, and Sir Foch could see himself with a defensive move having a pull here, Kane, down going in Dunlop Curve.
Yeah, first big test of that aero in the braking zone here. No dive, a couple of in the background there, side by side. Someone taking the inside line. It's all set up again for the Schumacher S's as well, so will we see some unbalanced cars through here? Ride that curve beautifully, the opening cars now.
And as we're seeing the small shot in the corner there, the midfield guys, we've got 12 cars all on top of one another, coming through the Michelin and Vorsteiner curves down towards Advan Bogan, so we will see moves there. Alex Phillips has dropped off a bit from Sir Foch. He's got Battenberg in the Ferrari all over the back of him coming down Ad Van Bogen. Will we see Battenberg make a move through the Michelin chicane? He's going to get very, very close indeed here. Oh, catches himself a bit much curb, and which instantly results in catching too much dust on the exit. So Alex will live to fight another day. Won't need to pull a defensive move into Coca-Cola, but may well see, as we see two cars back there, as Jose Jorge is then looking to get a move done on Millard, absolutely within slipstream zone. Will he hold these brakes or go for the inside line? No, he doesn't. Falls beautifully into a procession-like train of cars through the Michelin arena. As we see turn one then, all kinds of action then. Malchirek getting himself all kinds of sideways there. Sorry, that was Karsten in the Mercedes. We're on board with Malchirek in the Ferrari, looking to make a move through the Mercedes arena. Oh, as we see a car, oh, run across the grass and wipe himself out a Ferrari there, Kane. Turn one, as we say, it's a setup for turn 2 and 3, and someone absolutely got the setup job wrong there, it looks like.
Yeah, not good to see on these opening 2 laps, John. Guys pushing hard, a little bit. I don't know whether we're seeing contact there or just an outbreaking of himself, but definitely not the safest re-entry there from Babalul.
No, and that's going to cause all kinds of viewing pleasures for us. Yep, all kinds of viewing pleasures coming our ways. He's going to go side by side. Stefan Van Hal thinks better of getting too involved there. Hangs just off the back, but I can tell you he will be looking to make a move sooner rather than later. He is giving it the old disco lights to show his disapproval at Babalul's re-entry there. Babalul then all over the place in that Mercedes, catching himself a bit more sand. Stefan Van Hal lining up the move into the Warsteiner curve, looking to push, and Ad Van Bogen, I would suggest we could see these two drivers along with Stempel in the background go potentially 3 wide here as they come barreling down towards Bogen, absolutely flat out, hit the right hand kink. These 3 cars definitely with decisions to make here going into the Michelin chicane. Stefan Van Hal then up that inside said thanks very much. Minor contact there, not sure Babalul left quite enough room for the move that was being pulled. It was a legitimate move. We're going to get a replay then. And this is car number 28, which is of course Chris Humphreys, getting it all kinds of wrong, Chris. Completely missed his braking zone there, Kane. Yeah,
that, as we do see the replay, that's the opening lap I am watching now, John, so a little bit of a case of tyres not warmed up, obviously, brakes not warmed up, a little bit hot into that first corner, lots of action, Constantini, as always in turn 1. So, yeah, that's how you get it wrong. Watching on board now with Chris Jones, this is how you get it all right, with that move from 3rd into 2nd, and a little bit of a gap back to Sir Foch now, battling it out behind him.
Yes, he is. So, we did wonder, would Mercedes come alive? I think if you take out the Tavernari conundrum, which is how to beat them, Mercedes actually putting in a relatively decent showing here in the early exchanges here, Kane. Although a lot of Ferraris in the top 10, but not as many as we've seen in previous races at this stage.
Not as many, John. Big mover amongst that pack is, as we jump on board with Jose Jorges now, actually started down at 11th, so he's had a great start to these opening couple of laps, finding himself up in 6th place. Couple of replays in the background with some more carnage in the OP, a little bit of a touch there.
Yeah, that's Gantus. Yeah, that is Gantus coming together with Boychuk, Oleg Boychuk. Of course, we have 2 Boychuks racing this evening. We have Oleg, and we also have, that is too small for me to read. Why is that making my life so much more difficult for myself? Why won't that work? We do love technology. We do love technology. Kane, if I didn't have some kind of technical issue during the broadcast, am I even putting in an attempt? Am I even trying? We've got to wonder.
Well, it's not a broadcast, is it? I'll help you out there, John. It's Valentin Boychuk.
Valentin Boychuk, of course it is. Valentin and Oleg, the 2 Boychuks racing with us this evening. So some cracking action so far. We're on board with Malchirek, of course. He is down in 12th place, which is unfamiliar territory for our Ferrari driver. Of course, 4th in the first race and 3rd in the second, finds himself down in 12th place at the moment. He is all over the back of Asta Borrega, who was involved in a little incident earlier in the race and finds himself out of position, with Hole and Lambrecht and Rosso looking to compound that misery, with Van Hal, Stempel and Boychuk not far behind. Babalul has been disposed of. Oh, and it's 3 wide there. Malchirek, Hole and Asta Borrega there. That didn't look like the highest race IQ entry there from Hole in the background there, looking to make a move. I don't think he quite accounted for the fact there was 2 cars in front of him there. Very nearly cost the 3 drivers a bit of a coming together, but they do keep it separate at the moment. We're on board then. TSR Wake, one of our favourites here at SOP, of course, ever active in the community. Love to see him involved tonight and love to see him up in the top 10. Malchirek then making a move. Will he get it done? Advan Boggin, they're going to go side by side. We're going to see them, and he's absolutely got the move done. The speed from that aerodynamics there, the slipstream, absolutely working wonders. Samsu, oh, has a bit of a wiggle, and he's going to get jumped. King McGee looking to pull an AMG on AMG move into the first turn. Sam takes the inside line. Julie offers King McGee the outside line. They do have Karsten Haish just up ahead of him, gets a bit close there, but the 2 cars do survive then, so Sam holds off the advances. Marcus Hole then in 13th place. Great opening laps from these guys, constant action all the way through. We've got another Mercedes on Mercedes battle happening there, as well as a Ferrari on Ferrari here. Rosso then looking like he's carrying a bit of damage on the front of his car. Here's Stefan Van Hal all over the back of him through the Mercedes arena. The 2 of them looking to battle it out and get themselves much further up the field then. Stefan, of course, very, very quick driver, has recently switched from console to PC and seems to be making the transition pretty smoothly as he chases Rosso in the Ferrari down towards the Dunlop curves for the 3rd time of this race. We've got 10 minutes gone, Kane. There's been movers and shakers all over the field, but of course the man who has benefited the most from all of this is of course Chris Jones, up in 2nd place still.
Yeah, definitely that move down in the opening exchanges of the first lap, getting that Mercedes put out in front of Sir Foch and the Ferrari, keeping within distance of the leader, Tavanari, who still is out in front. Not going to say comfortably yet, John, but definitely enjoying some fresh air in front of him.
He really is. No fresh air in front of Stempel at the moment. He is in the slipstream of Stefan Van Hal, who is in the slipstream of Rosso. These 3 guys sticking to one another like glue. I didn't realise the minions were involved. I think it was the colour of the car there threw me off. It is, of course, sticking to one another like glue. Jose Georges then up to 7th place now. He has got the move done on Samsu. He's hunting down Millard and Battenberg, those 3 Ferrari drivers, the closest 3 to Phillips. These guys in the middle then still going at a hammer and tonking, and it seems to be we've got some little groups here. We've got a group of 3 Ferraris having themselves a little battle, and we've got a group of 3 Mercedes having themselves a little battle, and this one, none of these battles are going to go away anytime soon, thankfully.
Let's hope not. Let's hope not. As we see on board with Michael Hole, as you said, John, in the middle of those 2 Mercedes battling it. It's going to be another 49 minutes of mayhem, I'm sure.
Indeed, yes. He is in the Mercedes sandwich at the minute. Asta Borrega leading the way, and Karsten Haish looking to close the gap. We do have, of course, in the bottom screen, we've got Millard here, who is sneaking himself a little gap as he leaves Battenberg and Jose Georges battling out in his wake. These 2 guys bumper to bumper, as we see. We will stick with the Mercedes battle though, and see if Hole can get the move done on Asta Borrega, or can Haish close the gap and give Asta Borrega the breathing space he needs if these 2 guys start battling, and what a battle it could be. The aerodynamics put absolutely to the limit here, Kane, as they come through the Michelin curve around the Coca-Cola corner for the 7th time, and it is absolutely as you were in the previous lap. These guys nip and tuck, nailing every braking zone exactly as they should, and now crossing the line again with exactly the same distance between them as the previous laps. So really are putting in consistent laps here, even under the pressure. And just as he says that, just as we say that, the curse of the commentator kicks in into curve 1, and very nearly a massive coming together, Kane.
Yeah, little lock up of the brakes there for Astor brings Mikel Hull straight back into it, and Carson Hatch all over the back of. Like we say, John, these corner entries and exits are crucial. You do sacrifice a little bit of that speed going in to get more coming out. Quite a few of these quarters as Mikel Hull, a little bit of a lock up there also, I think. These guys pushing each other's very hard. Couple of running wide there, so pressure's starting to mount already, 13 minutes in.
It really is. We're seeing there has been a couple of incidents. Van Hal has been involved in a slight coming together with Baron Rosso, but the two cars are still living to fight another day. Hello once again to everybody in the chat. Phil, where is Housey? Not sure who Housey is. SOP Motorsports, good evening Simon, hope you're enjoying, bud. Mercedes definitely stronger around here, but Tavernari is so fast. Amen to that. Someone fetch my tambourine. It's out with... Oh, I do actually have a tambourine within arm's reach. We may bust that out later on, depending just how good the racing gets. 93 Tavernari for the win. Tom Lenz, hello there, welcome along. Hope you guys are enjoying. Remember, say hi in the chat. We are a mere 14 minutes in. These guys really are putting on a show. It is, of course, the SOP PC EVO Challenge, the Ferrari 488 2020 EVO version versus the Mercedes AMG 2020 EVO version. We're back on board with one of our regulars and also one of my regular nightmares, because I can't pronounce King McGee from one week to the next, but he is looking to hunt down TSR Wake, which is of course one of our stalwart SOP participants. Sam Sue, as we see Taish not keen in the position he is in behind Marcus Hole here, Kane, and looking to get this move done very soon, I would say.
He's going to have a little bit more speed here coming out. Yeah, Mikel Hull defending for all life here. And yeah, Carsten being very patient behind.
Oh, and Aston Martin spun!
Made in front.
Aston Martin spun it, Kane, and that is, yeah, pretty much game over and through the Valvoline curve then. Again, that was the corner you picked up on during the lap as being a very quick corner, one that is vitally important to setting up a good lap, and yeah, that importance was unfortunately missed there by Hole, and he is completely, Aston Martin, he's made a bit of a pig's ear of that and is going to find himself tumbling down as King McGee still hunting down Sam Sue, who has Jose Georges, of course, in front of him. And as you mentioned, Kane, Jose Georges qualified 11th, 12th? 12th, 11th?
Yeah, down 11th position.
Down 11th.
Has made those 4 moves up, but is looking like he's going to be under all sorts of pressure here from the guys gaining all the way there. King McGee, Sam Sue in front, as exactly that has happened, John.
Yep.
Jose Georges makes a little mistake into that Coca-Cola curve. He's going to find Sam Sue all over the bumper, with his bumper all over the rear coming into turn 1. Does he get that move lined up? Thinks twice of it and save it for another lap.
Yeah, I think that to me was race IQ 100% there from Sam Sue. He realised he couldn't get the move done, but you also don't want to be in the slipstream for any longer than you need going into a braking zone, certainly, so he thought he would kill the overspeed, pop out. As we see Sean Buck, looking to pop out and make a move on plots. These guys down in 19th and 18th, of course, with Boychuk and Van Hal just ahead of them, and Egan and O'Neill just behind them, as we see Van Hal then involved in a three-way battle here with Valentin Boychuk. These guys all over one another through the Michelin curve coming down to Warsteiner. Sorry, the Mercedes Arena that was coming through. This, of course, is the Warsteiner curve into Michelin curve. Will we see any move? We do see a lot of dust being kicked up there. Drivers closing up in the braking zone. Very close all the way back to Stempel in 20th. Sean Buck in 19th. Plotz is in 18th. And Boychuk is in 17th with Van Hal at the front of that little group coming into the Dunlop curve, heading up towards the Michael Schumacher S's. Will we see any moves, Kane? What do you reckon? I think we could see some action here going into Advan Bogan.
Yeah, guy's going to be well in range of slipstream and looking to make some moves possibly.
Yeah,
As we do head now into
absolutely.
Moves.
Yeah, I think the less said about that one, the better. Valentine, perhaps got lucky there that he didn't collect anyone. I would say that was more of a kamikaze than a dive bomb.
Yeah, got that braking zone a little bit wrong. I'm going to give benefit of the doubt, a little bit wrong.
Yeah, a little bit
He's
wrong.
going to be under all sorts of pressures, we can see. Plot's behind, coming into Coca-Cola curve. Outstanding, the look of that AFG there, John. Mesmerised by the colours. Sorry.
Here we go. Stempel then comes into pit, so we'll have our first pit of the race. We are 19 minutes in. Stempel's decided to come into the pits from 22nd place, so we'll see where he comes back out as these guys all get very, very, very close. Plotz, of course, carrying some damage on the front of his car. He's got Sean Buck just behind him. Two guys running absolutely wide, pushing it very, very hard, so track limits could well come into play. Sean has the attentions of Ian Egan in 20th place, all over the back of him, with O'Neill not too far behind either. Plotz then looking to carry that damaged car all the way home. Egan looking to make the move on Sean Buck. Sean was looking to make a move on Plotz, but he now finds himself defending furiously against Ian. Of course, Ian Doughty, he is one of our definitely stalwart members here at SOP, taking part in another event this evening, looking to help the Mercedes gain some points back in the never-ending battle against the Ferrari. The two of them coming through Michelin up towards the Schumacher. Oh, we see a big move in Advan Bog, and then King McGee says thanks very much, Jose Georges, done and dusted before they even get to the chicane. So King McGee then making it look nice and easy, and so is Ian Egan on Sean Buck. Can he hold it? Absolutely fantastic work on the brakes there from Ian. Gets the move done beautifully. It's one thing getting the move done, making it stick is entirely another, and Ian showing us he does absolutely have that skill set, Kane. So a couple of quick overtakes there, movers and shakers, and it's Mercedes winning the battles just now.
Yeah, and the guy's showing exactly how it's done. A bit of patience shown in maybe a couple of laps setting up those moves. And when you take the time, get it right, looks clean, looks nice, and you stay out in front. So yeah, Ian Egan there making short work of Sean Buck at the moment. A little bit of a gap pulled there too as well, so might have some pace there, see where he can work his way up the field.
And certainly, and he does have that insurance policy in the background of O'Neill, who is hunting down Sean Buck. O'Neill, of course, more than capable of making an overtake himself. So Sean now with more than just Ian Egan ahead of him to worry about. Ian will be looking to charge on and get caught up to Plotz ahead of him. Of course, we have seen that Plotz is carrying a fair bit of damage. You can see the bonnet of his car not quite meeting up with the front bumper, so his aerodynamics will definitely be compromised. We'll see how much that affects him in the long term, and if he gets that repaired when he comes into the pits. Stefan Van Hal then, 15th place, looking to get himself up to 14th at the expense of his fellow Ferrari driver Rosso. The two of them coming up towards the Schumacher S's. Of course, this corner, of course, we keep talking about how patient and important how important it is to be patient going into these corners to get the exits right. The defensive moves in, Rosso holding the middle line. Oh, and we've got Georges on the grass then, so the battle between him and King McGee absolutely not done and dusted. Georges wants that place back, as we see Van Hal go side by side with Plotz then. He's absolutely made the most of his aerodynamic advantage. The two of them go side by side. That is a bit silly, I'm going to say. Not sure if there was a bit much squeezing going on, but definitely a bit of contact on the straight. That's not exactly what we like to see, lads. Sort it out. Jose Georges then has been re-overtaken by King McGee. Oh, this one is absolutely hot enough to be a cracker. Ian Egan then looking to get the job back done. Is that Plots now ahead of him? It is, so Ian Egan catching right up onto the back of Plots with Sean Buck and O'Neill in the rear. So this four-way battle in the middle is definitely shaping up. They're just battling away and they've brought another driver in, and if they're not careful, Babalul, Solkrum and Klokanovski are going to catch them up as well, Kane.
Yeah, that pack of Mercedes there causing each other all sorts of dramas. Looks like Jay Plots may have had just a little bit of a I get it wrong moment, and
I think there's a battle between Lambrecht. So 22nd, 23rd, and sorry, 22nd, 23rd, 24th, and 25th are having themselves a right little battle down at the bottom. Of course, that's Horace Solkrum, our good friend, home school racer. Mikel Hole is involved, and so is Valentin Boychek. We're on board though with Ian and the guys in the Mercedes as we see O'Neill in the background trying to find the way furiously past Sean Buck, who's just lost a place to Ian Egan, so he won't be keen to lose any more places, but O'Neill is definitely keen to pile on the pressure in this first stint of the race. We've had one driver pit so far, and we've had a second who's come into the pit. The Valentin of the Boychuk boys has jumped into the pits as we watch these guys come once again through sector 3 down into the back straight into the furious right hand kink that is Advan Bogan. We said before the stream came we expected to see a lot of action in turn 1 and through Advan Bogan, and we're only 24 minutes in and the guys are not disappointing at these two particular areas.
Yeah, definitely proving to be the places to watch as we see those brilliant views of one car off track. Side off track, John. So unfortunately, error made there as King McGee comes around and exits the Mercedes arena into that Valvoline curve. Again, car balance through here is crucial, so don't want to end up in that gravel zone and want to get that right exit down, heading into Dunlop curve, the lowest point of the track here.
Yeah, indeed, they will be letting it get done. Of course, King McGee, he has got himself a nice bit of a gap from Jose Georges, so he is definitely showing the pace as one of the quickest guys on the track at the moment. Yeah, he is actually one of the quickest guys on track at the moment, only 3/10 off of our race leader Tavanari in sector 2. So he's pulled the gap on Georges, who has got Malcherek hunting him down in the background, so he's really going to have to be on the ball if he's going to find himself back up the grid. Jumping on board then with the rear spoiler view of Sam Su. DSR Wake, of course, he does have the King McGee headache now, and I would imagine that's a headache that he's going to have to deal with sooner rather than later. Oh, and King McGee, curse of the commentator, why do I do this to drivers, Kane? Why do I do this to drivers? I'm going to have to give this up, I think, Kane. This is completely unfair on some of these guys.
Both drivers there, John, having little moments there. King McGee taking the worst of that. Let's see what will come of that. Enjoying this battle with the Mercedes again here. Ian Egan in the middle of it, gaining on Jay Plots. Likewise, Sean Buck looking to put Egan back under pressure for getting that pass done earlier.
And we're going to see a replay there. So King McGee getting his entrance to the Michelin chicane. All kinds of wrong in that AMG. Gives himself some gravel on the tyres, a bit of damage to his front left aerodynamics. And as you and I know, Kane, from the redesigning of these EVO cars, the front bumper on both cars, front aerodynamics was something that was worked on both cars, so that's absolutely going to compromise him. Ooh, guys getting nice and close in turn 1. Let's finish that train of thought though. So that is definitely going to hinder King McGee, who was on an absolute charge. He is in the pits though, so he's in the pits. Him and Jose Georges is pitted. So we're declaring he picked up damage. It just came straight in, I think, yeah?
I think so, John. He's taking that time to come straight in, whether it's major damage, or he's just looking to regain the nerves, calm down a little bit. Was some pretty heavy contact. New Mercedes EVO does allow for a quicker change, that front splitter, so maybe the pit crew will be put to work with those new features.
Yeah.
As this battle does heat up, in fact.
It's really good.
Yeah, something to watch, isn't it?
Oh, it really is. It really is. The Kaiser will be most impressed, or he certainly will if these guys can start using slipstream to leapfrog one another and get back up the pits. And we have the nightmare continues for King McGee. I did think that in the last 15 minutes of the race we would see the odd track limits penalty. I did not think we'd see King McGee get a drive-through, or sorry, I didn't think we'd get King McGee get a stop-go 30-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane, Kane. Game over for King McGee, and that really opens up the potential for the top of this table after this race tonight.
Yeah, it's matter of God. It's gone from bad to worse, hasn't it?
Oh, back to worse. Ian Egan is in the wall. And I tell you what, there is some serious separation between his aforementioned new bumper on his car. As we see the guys Sean, Buck and O'Neill side by side. Then this battle has been brewing lap after lap. O'Neill's had enough. Ooh, moves over, gives him a bit of a squeeze, gets the line up the inside. Can Buck get the cut back? Or can he now fend off one of our stream favourites in the background in the Ferrari, of course, Horace Solcrum, up into 14th. So he's put on a charge. Can we just double check, Kane? Where did Horace, our good friend Holmesgill, where did he qualify? He finds himself up to 14th at the moment. He's on the back of O'Neill and Buck, and he will absolutely be relishing the prospect of getting involved with these guys. We're going to jump back on board and watch a replay of Ian. And oh, it is the Michelin chicane. This time the exit of the chicane, and I think we're going to say that was quite lucky as he ended up in the pit lane. So straight in to get that damage repaired. Let's hope he doesn't fall foul of the stop-go. Buck has been well and truly overtaken by O'Neill, so O'Neill's 3 laps of patience have absolutely paid off. He's sized up his opponent and he's got the job done, and he's left Buck with a homeschool headache following him at the moment. Will homeschool get the job done before he pits? We will certainly find out. King McGee, so painful to see that stop-go 30-second penalty beside his name. He does look like he's serving it at the moment. We're of course on board with Babaluel at the moment. Had a bit of a shocker at the start of the race, found himself off course with a questionable rejoin. We shall give him the benefit of the doubt and simply call it questionable at the moment. Finds himself down in 26, hunting down McKenna. Of course, Paul McKenna, he isn't the famous illusionist, but he is the guy that signed up to just race in this competition within about 20 minutes of learning of the SOP community. So big shout out to you once again, Paul. Thank you for getting involved and showing how easy it is to get involved with SOP Motorsport Racing, and have yourself a quite fabulous time, Kane.
That's right, John, and you're out. It is that easy. There's another car running wide just in the background there. Halfway through the race now, a couple of guys struggling to hold it together. All sorts of...
Sam Sue not struggling, no, up the inside, exactly as you predicted, Kane. An overtaking move, and we have an absolute textbook copy of that move being taken into the Michelin curve. Sam Sue, TSR Wake, of course, getting the job done up through the Schumacher exit. Catches himself a bit of dirt though on his tyres. That could cost him. Malcherek, we know absolutely no mug whatsoever, will look to get the position back. It is Malcherek that's hunting him down in the Ferrari, so the Mercedes proving to be the dominant one at the moment. He will be looking to close the gap though. Can these guys get through the Michelin chicane? Boom, there we go. So congratulations to me. I managed to not kill a driver with the curse of the commentator through the Michelin chicane for once. As we see Sam Sue then ducking into the pits. O'Neill's just leaving the pits. Buck is in the pits, and Horace Solcrum has taken his pit stop. So it's going to be all change in the order at the moment. So we'll let these guys iron this out. Let's have a look once again in the chat. Phil, who is Housey? I'm not sure where Housey is, but if you let us know who he is, I can maybe throw a guess as to where he is. Tom Levy there. Come on, Wakey. There we go. Oh, the chat's suddenly come live. Can anyone race using SimGrid? I joined a couple of months ago, but haven't done anything more since. Yeah, mate. Well, yeah, there we go. This is the type of thing that SimGrid put on there. It is in conjunction with us at SOP this evening, but definitely worth signing up. Chris Jones is in the lead of the race temporarily, of course. Tavernari has taken his pit stop, which has sent Jones and Foch ahead of him. And he will be looking to get some clean laps in as we see. Is this Asta Buerga? It is Asta Buerga. I'm really struggling with that name, I'm not going to lie. That is a real tongue twister for a Scotsman to try and say. He is all over the back of Humphreys. Has pitted, Humphreys has not, so it'll certainly be interesting to see whether Humphreys lets his competitor through or decides to hold him up. Catches a bit much speed, didn't quite pay attention to the right-hander there, so it's going to be interesting going into the Michelin chicane. Ooh, catches all kinds of curb there, and not the kind of curb you want before they come round the Coca-Cola curve. We see another car then ducking into the pits, so we've suddenly gone, Kane, from 3 cars pitted with 30 minutes gone, with 3 minutes later. 90% of the field, it would seem, have gone into the pits. Asta Buerga then looking to defend from Humphreys into turn 1. Will we see Humphreys go round the outside or get the cutback? He's certainly eyeing up the cutback, doesn't get enough turn in into the Mercedes arena. Asta Buerga then looking to live to fight another lap, runs himself a bit wide. You're going to have to watch these track limit, lads, or there will be a lot of penalties come the end of the race, Kane.
Yeah, still 26 minutes left, John. As you say, those track limits, I really don't want to come into play, but could definitely come into play. Chris Jones and Alex Phillips into the pits now as well, so leaving Foch out in the lead. Obviously not making that pit stop yet. Big movers within those pit stops. Samsu and Malcharek. Malcharek started in 13th place. He's got his pit stop done now and he's out in 10th. So a couple of moves there. Also Battenberg and Maladi. So Maladi getting a quick pit stop done, and if I'm not mistaken, finds himself in provisional 2nd place behind Tavernari.
That will certainly be one to keep an eye on. Of course, Jones will be looking to put pay to that. Let's quickly jump back and finish off saying hi to the Chires. We've got Tom Lenz, hello. Rockefeller Racing, hey guys. Catch here, hey Catch, how we doing, bud? Welcome along, welcome along. Been running the USA Series tonight in the Ferrari. Good luck. Anyone driving a Ferrari, you have my best lucks. Oh, Metalhead. See, I'm going to need to write down everyone's name. Everyone needs to, or you all need to get the same names as we see bumper to bumper action. Let's watch these guys then side by side once again. Ooh, I tell you what, they're coming into this Michelin. Oh, and the car's absolutely unsettled in the background there. So O'Neill there unsettling the car going into the Michelin curve, falling foul of the slipstream overspeed as they come round the Coca-Cola curve. So we're certainly eyeing up the speed there. Didn't quite handle the slipstream as well as he would have liked. He's left himself out of range going along, and we again just bowing down and pay homage, people, to the camera work that is being provided by Magic Mike here as we watch the Dunlop curve coming up towards the Schumacher edges. It is of course Jose Georges, one of our championship contenders, sits 3rd overall after a 2nd and a 4th place, down in 8th place here at the moment, hunting down Samsu, who's been involved in many a battle and is looking to get himself back up, but he is in a Ferrari hunting down an AMG, and at the moment, Kane, the Ferrari's not coming, the Ferrari's coming off 2nd best to the Mercedes at the moment.
Yeah, still have those top 2 positions being locked out with the Ferraris, I think, John. There's plenty of screen time, timing laps are updated as everyone gets their pit stops made. Looks like most have got those pit stops done now.
As we see a back marker there.
Yeah, a little bit tricky now. We are.
Oh, a lot of dirt on the tyres. Oh, and this is side by side. This one's going to get spicy as they come round the left-hander.
Yes,
and yeah, on you go, Kane. You take this one away.
We'll see O'Neill open up. Hopefully, jump on the back of plots here through Advenbogen into the NGK chicane, John. I'm sorry to correct. The NGK chicane.
You mean eventually correct?
Always been. Yeah, as we predicted, plenty of action, and O'Neill all over the back of plots now. Can he get the slipstream pass done into turn 1? Notorious turn 1.
Indeed. Well, I'm going to say he is close enough there, but expect him to pop out. He is going to take the apex of this corner, which is going to give him, of course, a better setup. We see plots then falling into place, looking to make a move back. It's coming through the Mercedes arena. He's timed it absolutely perfectly. He's got a much tighter line through there, so it's all going to be about the brakes here. Who is going to be the bravest? Who is going to be the wisest? The two of them going side by side. Absolutely beautiful, respectful racing through the Mercedes arena here. I hope I've got that one right. And we're seeing it on screen, Jose Georges and Sam Su. We did say that these two guys would be meeting up sooner rather than later on track. Jose Georges, of course, third in the championship, looking to massively improve his position in this race, and the race has once again come alive. We had a couple of laps where the guys were nice and spread out, and bang, pit stop's done. We are all over one. The NGK chicane is where Jose Georges is making a move. The two of them coming around the last curve. Again, just enough room left by both drivers. Absolutely respectful on the exit as well. And I tell you what a move by Jose Georges. He's got his nose out in front, and he's got the ideal line going into turn 1. Can Sam stick it around the outside? He's got a bit more speed. Sam then taking wide. He will look to cut back up the inside with the tighter line, so he is going to go around the outside through the Mercedes arena. The two drivers there absolutely committed. Sam's got the move done, goes sideways in the Mercedes, through the Mercedes arena, and both of them going through into turn 1. Kane, this is phenomenal driving from these guys.
Yeah, this battle just intensifies each lap, doesn't it? The Mercedes and AMG battling it right out as they did over 100 years ago.
And the Mercedes and the Ferrari. Sorry to correct you. My turn to correct you. But anyway, I beg your pardon. I'm not being childish at all. But yeah, just thought I'd correct you there, Ken.
Excuse me, thank you.
Gesundheit. As we watch O'Neill and plots then. This is a Mercedes versus AMG battle, Ken. Oh, and it is a battle. The two of them trading wing mirror paint there, like a signed shirt at the end of an international football game there. The two guys trading wing mirrors. O'Neill on plots through the Mercedes arena once again. Plots getting on the brakes slightly earlier. We do see a bit of separation in Plots' bonnet and bumper configuration, so he will be struggling slightly with his aerodynamics, something that O'Neill will be looking to take advantage of now that he's in the front, and will certainly be ruining Plots' tyres all the more. Yes, it is O'Neill that is ahead of Plots at the moment. Or is that Stemple? Is that Stemple behind him, or is that Plots? It is Plots, it is Plots. They come down into Dunlop, and it is Plots that is in arrears to him at the moment, with Stemple not far off the back. Solcrom, of course, in 16th, so great moves for him up the table. He's overtaken Buck and Rosso, and Babaluel back up in the 19th place, with Klokanovsky in 20th. Ian Egan, though, down in 22nd place at the moment after running wide. As we see some action in the background there, Plots and Stemple going side by side as O'Neill looks to take off into the distance. So once again, we have Mercedes on Ferrari, who will look to be the winner here. Stemple definitely going to have the upper hand, I would say, given Plots' compromised aerodynamics as they come through Advanbogen into the NGK chicane. I'm going to keep saying the NGK chicane now, just to show off that I have now got it correct, coming round the Coca-Cola curve. The Ferrari not quite close enough to make a move, and really going to need an absolutely flying exit if he's going to get anything done into turn 1, and it looks like he might have just got it. A bit far off there. Jump back on board then with Sam Su. Battle Royale continues between him and Jose Georges. Jose Georges is in the lead of Sam at the moment, and he's given it the big light flash. I'm not sure if that's aimed at Sam or Battenberg in the front. Oh, or is that Battenberg in the front, or is that a back marker that may be holding him up? I believe that is a back marker. Oh, and he's just taken them both off. Well, that's certainly not what we like to see. There's someone skating across the track. Is that Jose Georges? If it is, that could be championship over with only 18 minutes left. We'll hope it's not. And yes, I fear it may have been. So Jose Georges then, involved in an incident with one of the back markers, unfortunately, finds himself dropping off, and Sam Sue certainly won't be too sad to have seen that, now that it's going to give him a bit of space. We'll come down into Dunlop once again. Nice and tight, both men on the entrance and exit, shooting up the hill towards the Schumacher SS. Stempel looking to make Plot's day even worse. He is very close. He's going to go side by side through Valvoline. Oh, and there's a bit of contact between the two, and both cars upended there. And Stempel didn't even bat an eyelid in an attempt to wait for his fallen comrade. We are going to jump on board with the replay then. So there we see car number 777, which is of course Jose Georges. And we see the Ferrari number 78, which is, as he furiously looks, oh, so it's Babalul. No, it wasn't, it was a Ferrari, I'm sorry, no, it was Mo Omar. So it was Mo Omar, one of the back markers there, didn't quite get out the way in time, has caused a bit of a coming together, and that, I would say, Kane, has put a serious dent in Jose Georges' chances of finishing this competition in the top three now.
Yeah, not at all what we like to see here in the SOP grid for the sim grid racing.
Yeah, it's like 4 o'clock in the morning where you are, Kane. You're allowed to have the odd faux pas. It's not like you've been consistently naming a chicane wrong for the whole race.
It is yeah, unfortunate. We'll see if Jose Georges can fight back and jump on the back of Sam Sue again and rejoin that battle that they've been having. As we're on board with Sean Bach, who has our good friend Horace Solcrum all over the back of.
Rosso.
It's
Rosso in the back of him, yeah. Horace is in an orange and black Ferrari. He is just ahead of these guys. Yep, so that is Buck that we have. He's been mercilessly hunted down by Rosso in 17th. Again, we can see that little bit of separation between his front bumper and his bonnet. So aerodynamically compromised, definitely compromised there, coming up through the Schumacher S. It's all kinds of wide. They're going to go side by side, and that is move done. Rosso's definitely nice and smooth and clean, going to get that done, and he will have himself a slipstream-free existence as he piles through Ad Van Bogen, leaving Buck in his wake. So move well and truly done there for Rosso. Metalhead, hello. D. Lewis, good evening. John and Kane, hello. Thank you, D. Cheers for tuning in. Metalhead, how are you? We also got Sir Psycho. Thank you for tuning in. Console needs spectator mode like this. Yes. Matthew Miziak, Smoke here, loving the PC camera work. That is all down to Mike. Magic Mike in the Mankini. He does love to put on an extra special show for us. Unbelievably good work that he does with enough computing power to put NASA absolutely to shame. Certainly puts to shame what I've got. I'm pretty sure that compared to Mike's setup, I have got a glorified calculator. So who else have we got? Matthew saying hello, Tom Len saying hello again. Sir Psycho, good evening, thanks for joining in. SOP Motorsport is saying hello again. Kieran Clifford, hi there. I heard there was a great race going on here, and that the commentators are the finest exports that Scotland and Australia have to offer. Thank you very much for that, Kieran Clifford. Consider the PayPal payment sent. I appreciate that. Wasn't quite word for word what I asked you to type in the chat, but yeah, thank you for that. Tom, I'm good, mate. I'm good. ZX Spectrum at best. Kieran, you are correct. I'd be lucky if I had a ZX Spectrum working at the moment. Stefan Van Haldo, we're on 12th. Enough of my incessant rambling. We're watching these guys through the NGK chicane coming round the Coca-Cola curve. Stefan Van Hal, of course. Can't mention enough, he is one of our SOP stalwarts. Putting an absolutely fantastic showing in the console Winter Pro Series. And here we find him putting in another solid performance in the Ferrari around the Nürburgring, chasing down Astra Brega. Can we please come up with it?
There we go, John. Stefan Van
Close.
Hal, one of the movers too, John, up 4 positions from his qualifying spot, so he'll be looking to make even more gains as he joins right along the backside of Astra Brega now.
Did he well and did he well?
Straight leading into Valvoline curve. Again, this one crucial to get right. If you're under pressure, outbrake yourself, you are going to end up in a gravel pit, as we've seen on more than one occasion today.
Indeed, and yeah, we've got in the chat. I love it when Mike does the camera where it rotates on a pass. Top work. That's from D. Lewis. Yeah, dude, that is one of my favourite. I'm going to be honest, I've watched that a couple of times last week. The camera on the roof cane where it rotates as someone goes past. It just, yeah, really does this game and the drivers a lot of justice and gives you guys at home some fantastic stuff to watch. So we're glad you guys enjoy that. Just realised that I'm probably one of the few in the audience that may know what a Spectrum actually is. And it doesn't know, a ZX Spectrum was the first console that ever came out. It was a keyboard. You had to buy a separate cassette deck for it to load your games. Your games sounded like someone was strangling a fax machine. Took about a week and a half to load. Only had a 90% success rate of starting up first time. And came out in about 1984 when the world was still black and white. So yeah, the ZX Spectrum certainly is an old piece of kit, but there's definitely no old pieces of kit apart from myself. On display this evening we do have some of the finest and newest technology available, not only bringing you the broadcast but of course on the track in the form of the 2020 AMG and 488. As we see some awesome work there, Stefan Van Hal riding on board with his front redesigned splitter. Of course that little bit of carbon fibre you can see halfway up is brand new to the Ferrari 488 as part of the redesigned package. Mike absolutely showing off now, which we absolutely love to see, as Stefan Van Hal charging through the field, looking to catch up on the driver whose name I keep massacring, so I'm not going to embarrass myself or him anymore by trying to say Alejandro. He's trying to hunt down Alejandro in the number 33 car, Kane. The track, the cars, the drivers absolutely lived up to what we thought so far. The championship's going to be all changed. Luca Tavernari, of course, sealing the deal. But our friend, our new friend, Chris Jones, in the Mercedes, looking to break the dominance. He is ahead of Sir Foch in third, and AJ to the P, my one to watch, is up in fourth place, but may have a battle on his hands in the form of Millard Battenberg, Sue and Georges, who are hunting them down at a fairly rapid pace, Kane.
Yeah, John, absolutely. Chris Jones, or TSR GT Welsh, as many may know him as. A couple of mixed results earlier on in the season, a 9th and an 11th, finding himself up in the 2nd, so really found his feet here at the Nürburgring. He'll be looking to finish strong and head into the season finale next week, making a charge towards the podium positions. So everything to play for. So Foch in third, he will gain plenty more points and try and cement his podium standing also. So there's still plenty of battles to play out in the final 10 minutes, John.
Yep, there really is, We hope you guys at home are enjoying it. Thanks once again for getting involved in the chat. We've got Vicky B, love the commentary. Well, thank you very much. We love you guys tuning in. It certainly keeps me warm and cosy on a wintry Wednesday night here up in Scotland. There is snow and ice outside, and Van Hal then, side by side, outbreaks his opponent Astra Brega and catches himself a whole lot of gravel pit. And he is giving it the full Wu-Tang Clan there, Kane, and that is going to cost him dear. Not only is it going to cost him the place, his tyres are now pretty wrecked, I think is the technical term, for the next few corners. NGK chicane then jumping on board with Battenberg. Sorry to cut you off there, Kane. I was about to let you speak, but I thought, nah, he corrected me. So that's it, he's in the bad books. Battenberg looking to catch up on to the back of Millard. Of course, they've got Sam Sue and Jose Georges in fairly close attendance behind. I do expect to see these positions change before the end of the race, Kane. What do we think?
Quite possibly, John. We know leading up, had 50 minutes of racing now, so guys have been pushing these cars to the limit for that 50 minutes. See if they can hold on for another 8. Battenberg actually lost a couple of positions here from qualifying, so he's down to 6th from 4th. He will be looking to jump back up. See if he can get past that car in front where we've had that battle. Oh, he's a little bit wide there. Babalul.
You do Aston-Marega, I'll do Babalul.
Sounds fair. These guys side by side. Gets that move done. Does he, John? Confirm for me.
Yes, he does. No, Babalul is still... Oh yeah, he has got the move done on Plotz. I'm sorry, he has got the move done going down in Advan Bogan. Absolutely taken off into the distance there. So definitely got that move done as we jump on board. There is Battenberg. He is, of course, closing down on Millard, who is not on the back of Phillips. Sorry, that is a back marker Mercedes. That is very respectfully and quickly. Oh, getting out of the way there. May have caught our Ferrari driver slightly off guard there. We're on board with Rosso though, and he is hunting down Horace Solcrom, of course, home school racer, who does have Stempel and O'Neill just in front. And oh, an uncharacteristic mistake there from home school. Runs wide in the Mercedes arena, giving Rosso all the momentum there to close that gap. King McGee, bad to worse. He did make a mistake earlier, had a stop-go 30-second penalty. Now finds himself pirouetting on the sand as Rosso still hunting down Solcrom, who is trying his best to keep an eye on Stempel. And they do have a slight issue here in that our race leader is not too far off the back of them. So this is certainly going to be an interesting situation under blue flags. We see Rosso very respectfully and quickly get out of the way. I'm assuming Horace has done the same, or is he still in the lead? He has. So Rosso's maintained his position. Tavernari is working his way through these back markers, and I tell you, that just shows the level of pace this guy's got. He is now lapping 14th, 15th and 16th, Kane.
Yeah, outstanding pace as has been displayed the opening 2 rounds for Tavernari, leading from start to finish, minus a couple of little pit stop adjustments. Again, he'll be awfully happy with that result if it stays as is for the last 5.5 minutes.
Indeed. We do have, oh there we go, so EDLK, who keeps correcting me on King McGee, thank you very much. I had a ZA81 Spectrum. Wow. So you're the ZA81, so the Spectrum's new. That is, yeah, OG. Right there, indeed. D. Lewis, I've had a few Spectrums. Hate it when you accidentally kick it and stop the tape. Yep. They won't know what a cassette is either. Yeah, I actually saw a video of some kids online trying to put batteries in a tape cassette because they were trying to figure out how to use it. So that just definitely makes you feel old. Happy days, those 2 childhood memories. D. Lewis still adds in the chat. Warren Devine, that was one of the $9.99 titles and my pocket money didn't stretch that far. Dizzy's Dinosaurs. There we go, lads. All this fantastic racing on the track, and we're talking about Dizzy. What was the Dizzy game? The diamond collecting thing, I'm sure it was. AKM Racing UK, we had a Spectrum 128. Wow. That had a built-in disc drive. Built-in cassette deck. You're just posh. That must have been posh. Do you remember the Horace Series 2 from Warren Devine? So yeah, so we're all about the ZX Spectrum this evening. Once again, little nuggets of beautiful information brought to you by Double O Raven. If it's not life advice, and it's retro console, as we see Tavernari then dispatching of another back marker in the shape of Battenberg. He really is having it all his own way. Oh, sorry, I do apologise. That is actually a battle for 5th place. I'm getting too carried away with the chat. So Battenberg and Millard then fighting it out for 5th place. Battenberg looks like he's got the move done round the outside. They'll head down into the Dunlop curve, side by side, back and forward. The 2 of them go. We have Battenberg on the apex then. looking like he's got the job done on Millard. The two of them will chase one another up through the Schumacher S's. Millard definitely still close enough to keep Battenberg honest as they come through section 3, and it looks like once again, Kane, we're going to see some action through Warsteiner, Advan and up into NGK.
Likely so, John, as we've seen most of the week.
Where's the curse of the commentator kicks in and he goes sideways.
Millardi's seen that Ferrari get a little bit sideways on more than one occasion today, John. Proving how difficult it is getting that corner exit right and foot down and away as we join back on with Stefan Van Hal trying to get past Astra Baruga. If caught on, it's contagious.
Yeah.
Lost the pronunciation there also. He's down in 12th place, trying to move up into 11th. Come from 16th position today, so a couple of spots up. He'll be happy with that result also. Cubs side by side now.
Yeah, through Michelin and Warsteiner, they go side by side. They will remain side by side as they come down the hill through Advan Boggin. So no one will have the slipstream advantage here. They will go side by side through the kink at the right. It's going to certainly make an interesting NGK chicane. The two of them, as I said, neither one with a slipstream advantage. So Van Hal drops off the back a bit, decides to take a tighter line in entrance. Look to make the most of it on the exit, and he's certainly done that. He's going to get a much better line if he can get on the apex here and get the foot down fantastically. He could look to get the move done. We've got an early defensive move from Alejandro. You see what I did there? As they go into turn 1, so Alejandro will take the outside line and he will offer Van Hal the opportunity to pass on the outside. Van Hal look to get the cut back there. I'm going to say that Astra Bruega, there we go, nearly, got his braking quite wrong, hit the curb and the two of them through the Michelin arena, and there we go, Van Hal has got the move done. Was looking to cut up the inside. Astra Bruega tried to defend, got the curb slightly wrong, and that gave Van Hal the impetus to get the move done, and he will exit Mercedes Arena with 1 minute left in 11th place.
Yeah, you're right, John. Stefan Van Hal getting that move done with patience as Tavanari starts his final lap of the race.
He does, as you did predict. You did think it was going to be 31 or 32 laps long. It has been a very quick 31 laps. It certainly doesn't feel like we've watched these guys for 31 laps. The action has been intense and is continuing along as Millard is looking to get that place back from Battenberg. He certainly will be looking to get that done. But as you said, Luca Tavernari took pole position in our first two races, took pole position this evening, won the first two races and finds himself a comfortable 7 seconds ahead of Chris Jones, who's 13 seconds ahead of Sir Fox, with Alex Phillips in 4th. Battenberg currently in 5th with Millard showing him a lot of attention. Sam Su, Jose Georges, Malcherek and Hayes making up the top 10. It is Luca Tavernari in the SOP PC EVO Challenge, hosted here by SimGrid, of course, filmed beautifully by Mike, along with myself and Kane in the commentary box. Luca Tavernari is looking to come down Advan Boggin for the last time up through the soon-to-be renamed Michelin chicane, because I keep calling it that, so why not just change the name of the chicane rather than correcting me? Seems a lot easier as we see him catching a lot of curb there for the 31st time, easy for me to say. Pop my teeth back in the correct way. Comes around the Coca-Cola curve and across the start-finish line. 31 laps in. Luca Tavernari then absolutely sanctifies his lead at the top of the championship and pretty much wins the championship with that result. Then Chris Jones fighting back for the Mercedes. We did see an AMG on the podium tonight for the first time. Sir Foch then brings home the Ferrari in 3rd place to round out our podium, and Alex Phillips, AJ to the P, my one to watch, gets himself a great result tonight, finishing, Battenberg and Millard, it is all on. It is a drag race. He's cut him up, and it will be, yeah, that will be Battenberg that comes across the line to take 5th place with Millard in 6th. Sorry, AJ to the P. I was just about to, we were just in the middle of declaring you 4th when those two guys had themselves a little battle. So you did take 4th, so well done. Congratulations. Sam Su then. Great result for him in 7th place. Jose Georges finds himself... Where does Jose Georges find himself? He's suddenly dropped off the boards. 8th, so he is in 8th. Yes, he has dropped off the board. I'm not sure if he's perhaps disconnected there. I'm sure he did get 8th. We'll say that Malcherek at the moment is in 8th because that's what the board's in. Oh, NGK chicane, Astor Borrega. Just to make sure I have to stumble over his name one more time. Makes a bit of a mistake in his last attempt to navigate the NGK chicane. But he is going to come home in 11th with Van Hal in 10th. So the back of the field all catching up now. Stemples in 13th with Rosso in 14th. Horace Solcrom, of course, Homeschool Racers in 15th. Babaluel 16th. Plots is in the 17th place. Kane, what a race that was.
What a short 60 minutes. Absolutely, John. Again, Luca Tavanari showing his class, getting that job done fairly easily, and about a 10-second gap to 2nd place. Chris Jones, but big result for the Mercedes. So, yeah, Kaiser will be relatively happy with that result.
I would say so. Look at Tavanari then, sealing the deal. 4-week-long championship. We do have Imola to come next week, but look at Tavanari has won this championship with that result. So massive congratulations to Luca Tavanari for that. Absolute dominance shown in this entire competition. So he did finish first with Chris Jones in 2nd. Sir Foch took 3rd. Let me just maximise this so that my old eyes can read what I'm seeing. Of course, we had Phillips in 4th place, Battenberg in 5th with Millard finishing in 6th. Sam Su took 7th with Jose Georges in 8th. He did take 8th place before he dropped off the board, which means Malcherek is in 9th with Karsten Hash. I didn't make a hash of his name quite a few times. He didn't make a hash of his race and finished in 10th with Van Hal. Stefan Van Hal, another mover and shaker, up to 11th. Astor Borrega in 12th. O'Neill in 13th. Stemple in 14th. Rosso finished in 15th with Solcrom in 16th. Babaluel, Plots, Egan and McGee making up slots 17 through 20. Sean Buck then finished in 21st place. There's a new one for you. Even I didn't think I could stoop so low with grammatical errors such as those. But Sean Buck is in 21st. You think I'd know that? It's the day I was born, 21st. Goodness me. Omar then involved in a bit of an incident with our lead driver, finds himself down in 22nd. Klokanovsky, who Kane spent all morning learning his name. Hardly had to say it once. He finishes in 23rd. Humphreys in 24th. Lambrecht bringing it home in 25th. Boychuk then taking the honours between the Boychuk boys, finishing in 26th with McKenna in 27th. Oleg Boychuk will be in 28th, and I'm sure on the receiving end of a fair bit of ribbing. Gantus then in 29th with Hole in 30th, and Ligerston in 31st position. This is going to make it interesting, certainly for the podium positions next week, Ken.
Yeah, cannot wait for next week. And the 100 minutes round at Imola. Again, can we see the Mercedes come out on top now that number 1 has been locked up? Tavanari doesn't have to worry about results. Will we see him take a more relaxed approach? Will we see the Mercedes drivers push even harder? Yeah, all will be found out in just under a week's time.
Yeah, watching some of these replays then, Babaluel on Stefan, the NGK chicane, as I have now correctly named it, watching some of the action through there. Definitely one of the hot spots of the race, Kane. The guys really struggling through the NGK chicane tonight and provided us some unbelievable action at that spot, as we thought it would before the race.
Yeah, John, like you said, we thought that would be a spot to watch, and it's always good when you get those things right. Did see plenty of action down in the Michelin chicane. Haha.
Yes, indeed we did. Adam O'Neill then, another driver on screen, of course, involved in many a battle through the race, found himself much better off than his qualifying position. It's certainly going to be interesting next week. As you've just mentioned, Kane, it is a 100-minute race next week. Mercedes is absolutely the dominant car at that track, so we will expect to see big changes at the top. And given the way the grid finished, as I mentioned, that really is going to liven the things up. We can expect more of the action that we see on screen at the moment. Adam O'Neill once again involved. He was involved in so much this evening, Kane, and finishing down in 13th, not too bad a finish considering everything that he was involved in.
Yeah, it keeps pretty consistent with his previous results too there, John. As long as we're not going backwards, you're always going forwards, aren't you? So Adam will be happy, involved in some of those battles and coming out the other end still in one piece. Always good to see.
Yes, indeed. And as we mentioned, Imola certainly a Mercedes dominant track, so definitely could be one to watch. Of course, the real one to watch next week, I think, is going to be Chris Jones. I mean, if the Mercedes is dominant at Imola and Chris Jones was dominant in the Mercedes here, him having the race to throw away if he so sees fit.
Yeah, Chris Jones really finding his feet here today at Nürburgring. Past results possibly not reflecting his actual racecraft, but able to show today what he's all about, getting that second position. So yeah, very interested. He's my one to watch. Early prediction for next week, obviously, with your man AJ to the Phillips in that Mercedes. Just kept out of the podium position today. So again, he'll be looking to improve again next week and get those Mercedes back on top, as we'd all like to see.
He will indeed. Yes, Alex Phillips, I'm going to declare him my one to watch as well. As we watch Boychuk and Babalil then, these two guys absolutely committed as well through the whole race. The drivers right through, 31 of the finest SOP drivers this evening, putting on a show in the PC EVO Challenge. So, ladies and gents, it's 3 down and it's 1 to go here for the SOP PC EVO Challenge. And what a finale it's shaping up to be at what is most definitely a Mercedes dominant Imola, you lucky people. Yes, it will be a 100-minute race, and after tonight's action and the way the table will sit after tonight's results, it's definitely not to be missed, Kane.
No, absolutely. As previously touched on before, got some drivers to watch, absolutely, and yeah, can't wait for the battles to unfold again. Looking forward to catching everybody again watching.
Indeed. So, of course, we do have the races this week, the Coach Dave on Saturday night. Feel free to tune in and watch that, and we'll see one of the drivers be crowned with a Coach Dave Academy to keep your sim racing itch well and truly scratched. But for tonight, we must part in such sweet sorrow, leaving me the honour once again of thanking you, the viewers, for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed this as much as we did. Michael at SimGrid, thank you for hosting us. Magic Mike manipulating the monitors of his marvellous modern machinery, bringing us the movie magic that was the pictures we saw this evening. Kane, a pleasure as always having you here.
As always, John, big thanks again to everyone involved, Magic Mike, everyone at SOP, everyone there at SimGrid. Thanks for getting on board. It's been a pleasure.
Indeed. And yeah, special thank you to Simon and Bailey for putting together the SOP, the fabulous little community that is. So, once again, thanks for tuning in. I'm off for a strong cup of tea and a biscuit. Say good night, Kane.
Good night, Kane.
Good night, everyone.